Hey crew, Dr. Tim DiFrancesco here with TD Athletes Edge. This is Taina, and we are excited to be here with None to Run to bring you today a series of exercises that will help you to solve your shin splint problems. So sometimes you may have had those outer irritated shins on this position. Sometimes it's inner this way. The key there with that is to do enough exercises that actually contribute to strengthening those tissues, not just stretch, rest, ice, and cross your fingers that they're going to go away. So this sequence of exercises is going to be great for you to plug in either before a run, after a run, or on your non-running days to where you can really improve your lower leg health. So first up, we're going to get into a bridge position. Taina is going to show us that. It's going to be a bridge iso with toe raise. So with this, she's going to do 10 reps. You could do up to 20 reps if you wanted to progress over time. Start off with a 10 repetition count. Bridge iso, hold your bridge. And then from there, it is just what the name says, toe raises. So using the heels to pivot through as you bring those toes to the sky. Work on keeping the hips up at that tabletop position, because then you get extra bang for your buck. You get to build up the endurance of those glutes and your core as well, which is a great thing for other aspects. Excellent there. Good. Finish all those reps out. Perfect. And then we're going to go right into a tall plank position. So flipping on over, Taina's going to get us into a spot here where she's starting in the top of a push-up. So top of push-up position here, this is shoulders, core, but also quads and lower legs get loaded on this, that's what we want. We want to load the areas that we want to be strong. So she's gonna rock back, sitting butt towards heels, but not letting her knees touch the ground on purpose. That's what creates that quad strength down into the lower leg as well. So this is a great exercise. You don't need any equipment. And it's also nice to groove your squat pattern as well. You're really getting a lot out of this one. We're gonna do 8 of these reps, talking about a couple things Taina's doing a great job of here. Making sure the knees don't touch, keeping the elbows locked, and then sitting the butt down and back instead of letting it turn into a pike upward. She's really doing a nice job there of controlling through the shoulders into the core, and then let the hips do the work from there. So you'll feel this one in the quads, but even some down in that shin area. Now we're going to go into a half kneel 3-way ankle glide. So with the ankle, what we want to think about is good mobility contributes to healthier lower legs here. So we're going to give that ankle mobility in 3 directions. We're going to go forward, straight ahead, just right down the center of the feet and the toes. She's starting off, Taina's in this half kneel position, loading her knee with some overpressure there and just rocking into it. We want the knee to go over the toes on this one, so really getting that ankle mobility. Now she's going to do her reps going inward, so she's going to go across there. We can do 4 per direction here on this one, so you're going to go 4 straight and then 4 inward over the big toe. The whole time, one of the things she's doing a great job of and you want to pay attention to is making sure that your heel stays on the ground. So it's less effective if your heel on the front leg starts to raise off the ground there. So with that, if you have the ability to do this with shoes off, that's great. Very effective still with the shoes on. And if you wanted a little extra stretch, you could even put a small wedge or a small plate under a weight plate under your foot if you were in a gym setting, that type of thing. So we'll get the other side here, going in that 4 per direction. Yep, center. She's also paying attention to, which is really important, keeping a tall posture here. There's a couple other things that are going on. She's getting a hip flexor stretch right here, and that's excellent. Want to make sure that as you're doing it, you're not arching the low back as you rock forward. Lean with your torso, using the overpressure of your hands. Let your body help you to get that ankle mobility as you do 4 of those straight, 4 of those inward, and then as she's finishing on here, 4 of them outward over the little toe. Great. So we're going to come to standing. So we are going to do a stationary penguin on this next one. And the setup here is heels together but toes out. So with that, you want to pull the toes right up out of your shoes and try to just keep in place as you march your heels. So it's like the march of the penguins here, keeping the knees locked, and the marching action should come from heel, heel, not through your knees bending. She's Doing a great job with this one. I recommend we'll do it for about 30 seconds in this video. You could work up to, over time, up to 60 seconds on this, and that's strengthening the outer muscles of the lower leg there. She's got her fists down, really keeping her body tall and stiff. Knees are locked, hips are locked. It's just through the heels as she goes up and out. One thing that'll happen here is the toes start to creep in. Keep them out and keep them up. That's great. And next up, we'll go back to either a wall, a pole, a fence, something that you might have available nearby if you're outside. And we're going to do a toe raise. So we're going to do a standing version of the shin strengthening that we did from the bridge earlier. With this, what you want to do is sitting back a little bit so her feet are walked out a bit from the wall here, and then toes are up and down. So we're going to, on this one, do 10 reps. You could work up to 20 and beyond if you feel like that's comfortable and your body's receiving that well. But start off at 10 and work your way up. And if you don't feel burn after 10, go ahead and shoot for 20. But we'll do 10 for the video here. And what we want to think about is knees stay relatively locked, as you see Taina doing there. She's just working on pivoting through the heel as the toes come way up towards the sky. Excellent. So this next one is a great balance challenge, but really important to build up hip strength as you think about how do we support the lower legs and the shins from above and below. We already tackled below with the ankle mobility. We want to build up strength from the hips up above. So this is a great way to do that. Also, cool way to develop better balance. So with this, it's a Y balance action, and you're just going to push one leg forward. Yep. Out, and then you're going to go off and behind, and then across and behind. Yeah, so one thing to think about, so the bottom of your Y there, and then you're going to go way out to that top of the Y here, and the other side of the top of the Y here, and we'll go through one more time. So a 3-time through rep count is great on this one. And with that, you're getting multiple direction strength and balance challenge through the hips and the knees. So straight out, off to a diagonal, across to a diagonal behind the midline there. Notice what she's doing with her upper body. Good posture with her chest and torso, pressing the arms. The arm press is important. It gives you a counterbalance to be able to work on isolating and focusing on what your hip action is doing. So this will be the 3rd time through here. And as you go, you may find you reach a little bit longer and you can just tap that foot down instead of placing it and resting it. Okay, we are going to now add in some deceleration. Those lower legs and those muscles around the shins, one of their main jobs is to absorb and decelerate as you run. Each step you do absorb and decelerate a bit, so you need to train those muscles to be able to do that. This exercise helps that. So we're going to start off, this is a drop squat with stick. So Taina is going to start off in an upward position here, and then all at once, punch the ground with elbows, hips, and heels. So you can see she's actually leaving the ground to punch the ground or to land on the ground. It's as if you're jumping off of a box, but you're starting from the ground there. We'll do a couple reps here from the side. So we can do up to 8 of these. She did 4 facing front. She'll do 4 to the side here, as you see. And then this last one, pause at the bottom, and let's look at that. So she's done a great job of hard stick at the bottom point. She's in the bottom aspect of her squat, but she's still got an upright torso. Arms are shooting down to help to increase that deceleration force that we want to strengthen the lower body with. And she's keeping good balance, right foot to left foot there. So that should be your finish position. Last one, we're going to do a speed pogo jump. Speed pogo jump, very important to strengthen the ankles and the shins and the muscles of the lower legs in the actions that you're asking them to do. So with running, there is a ballistic nature to pushing off, landing. Again, we talked about deceleration, but also you're propelling. So this incorporates all of that. It is essentially a jump roping action without a jump rope. So all I want you to think about with this, Taina's going to get us going. We'll go for about 20 seconds. So shoot for 20 seconds. You can work your way up to 30 into 60-second bouts here. Trying to be quick, not high, just speed pogo. Thinking about pushing away from the ground and getting back to the ground quickly. So you're working on pushing the ground, but pull the toes up with every rep there. she's doing a great job there of keeping her knees fairly stiff. So you don't want the knees to get soggy and bendy. You can rest there. You want those knees to be stiff, so it's really just from the ankles there. And even staying in place is also a bit of a balance challenge. So those are several great exercises for you to start to put into your toolbox to keep those shins happy and healthy.